The Belgian Grand Prix approaches as Formula One experiences major shifts across various areas. Dutch media outlets persist in claiming Max Verstappen has not committed to staying beyond the current campaign, hinting at a possible exit from Red Bull if the squad fails to regain its winning edge in coming weeks. Meanwhile, German reports strongly suggest George Russell's Mercedes deal is nearing completion, with formal confirmation anticipated soon. Russell's recent conduct during media sessions seems to validate these contract discussions. The sports regulatory also confronts possible management transitions, as Tim Mayer, opposing current FIA leader Ben Saliem, has finally revealed his campaign agenda following previous postponements. His proposal stresses returning democratic values to the FIA, pointing to the troubling situation where chosen supervisory figures can be removed by the same executives they oversee. Spa-Francorchamps preparations reveal diverse rear-wing configurations among competitors. Ferrari shows particular interest in trial methods motivated by their recently introduced rear suspension arrangement currently under development. The SF25's modified rear suspension elements target the machine's habit of rear instability during deceleration, which formerly affected corner approach dynamics and led to front-end push that generated chain reaction handling problems. Ferrari's technical goal involves reducing rear ride height while avoiding excessive suspension stiffness, maintaining contact patch effectiveness. Charles Leclerc recognized restricted early impressions concerning behavioral modifications during trials, though he purposely avoided extensive technical discussion. Evaluation became difficult as pilots lacked comparison information from the former suspension setup on identical tracks, while test periods used demonstration rubber instead of competition specifications. However, data examination reportedly validated improvements from the revised rear suspension architecture. Leclerc has embraced more reserved communication following past situations where frank comments about squad problems triggered media conjecture about power assistance troubles. He currently believes making sweeping declarations about suspension operation would be unwise. Lewis Hamilton similarly discussed the testing period, explaining it merely constituted a promotional event with no detectable changes in vehicle characteristics. Hamilton provided fascinating insights about Ferrari's past achievements, observing that despite utilizing outstanding drivers including Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel across 20 years, only Raikkonen claimed a title with the organization in 2007. Hamilton voiced resolve to prevent comparable results, declaring his plan to question existing methods since repeated strategies produce repeated outcomes. He stressed the importance of his objective given restricted remaining professional duration. Recent periods witnessed Hamilton regularly attending Ferrari's workshops for planning conversations with different staff concerning power unit advancement and suspension arrangements for the next campaign. He additionally offered measured remarks on Christian Horner's exit from Red Bull, acknowledging Horner's accomplishments and the knowledge needed to operate such intricate establishments successfully. Previous accounts implied Toto Wolff suggested Mercedes would emphasize keeping George Russell with Kimi Antonelli when asked about Verstappen rumors. Russell encountered thorough questioning when reaching the venue, forcefully declaring no agreement presently sits available and showing doubt about finishing talks within 14 days considering the busy calendar including Spa, Hungary and the summer pause. Russell displayed assurance about his standing, mentioning little pressure from his viewpoint since team management would eventually choose their favored path, positioning him to react appropriately. He highlighted concentrating on results while believing that additional issues would settle naturally, thinking his role stayed safe based on ability. Russell claimed Mercedes needs peak driver skill and viewed himself among the leading competitors currently. Automotor und Sport, a reliable German source, documented Russell nearing contract expansion with Mercedes after successful discussions between the Silverstone and Spa rounds. Despite continuing conjecture about Verstappen's potential Red Bull exit, Russell's Mercedes continuation seems more likely, possibly removing options for Verstappen's squad switch. The outlet indicates Verstappen will probably stay with at Red Bull, not necessarily through choice but because Mercedes might eliminate that chance. This marks a change from earlier speculation about potential transfers, reasoning that Russell's outstanding seasonal display may not warrant the difficulties linked with chasing Verstappen, including release payments and handling Jos Verstappen's participation. Regarding Red Bull's 2026 engine initiative, early worries about advancement speed have been resolved according to knowledgeable insiders. insiders, Red Bull Powertrains has seemingly achieved set performance targets, though dependability concerns remain about energy recovery and distribution mechanisms. The Ford partnership advances adequately, albeit carefully, concerning motor supplies due to reliability factors. While possibly weaker than Mercedes units and initially unreliable, the power plant could supply Verstappen with competitive equipment. Verstappen's media session included extensive inquiries about his future intentions. Concerning possible Mercedes chances, he replied, "Typically, there's equally a chance I won't arise tomorrow. Existence stays unpredictable." He stated that his present contract signing showed plans to finish his career with Red Bull, though recognized uncertainty about that probability. Questions about fresh team guidance under Laurent Mekies, who moved from Racing Bulls, showed that Mekies has already introduced modifications, including simulator practice adjustments, indicating he brought immediate enhancement ideas rather than taking an observational stance initially. About Horner's exit, Verstappen mentioned it wouldn't affect his choice to stay or depart Red Bull. He rejected trying to force Horner's removal, recognizing that the past 18 months hadn't developed as desired. Leadership selected a different directional strategy, needing universal acceptance and forward thinking. Conjecture about a possible Sardinia gathering with Toto Wolff received notably evasive answers from both sides. Wolff implied they accidentally holidayed in the same area, while Verstappen stated he was sea swimming and such topics didn't concern him. Importantly, neither side specifically rejected meeting, preserving speculation despite recent accounts suggesting the Mercedes transfer stays doubtful. Weekend climate predictions show possible precipitation during Friday training and sprint qualifying periods in the afternoon. Saturday should stay clear, but Sunday's competition increasingly seems destined to include wet circumstances, with storms potentially reaching around 5:00 p.m., offering exciting racing if forecasts prove correct. Present evaluations indicate Verstappen's departure likelihood has dropped to roughly 20 to 25% from previously calculated 40%, though much relies on contract achievement conditions and Red Bull's shown development advancement in persuading him to continue. George Russell becomes the center of focus as Verstappen's Mercedes links endanger his position safety. The British competitor maintains belief that he and Mercedes can find agreement, but Horner's dismissal might generate extra uncertainties. Should Russell need backup choices, the complete grid scenario created by Verstappen and Red Bull's decline offers different opportunities. The 2025 championship keeps producing remarkable stories, especially with Horner's departure after 2 decades with Red Bull. Increasing conviction that Verstappen could join Mercedes follows accounts of him and Wolff being seen with private jets in Sardinia. While potentially insignificant, the timing appears notable given Wolff's declared readiness to chase even small Verstappen acquisition opportunities. Despite Russell's 2025 race triumph and 6 overall Mercedes victories, his continuation with the Brackley organization through the fresh regulatory period stays doubtful. Verstappen possesses decisive power as a 4-time world champion representing the grid's most desired commodity. This scenario inevitably places Russell considering backup squads. Presently, Red Bull stands as the primary option should Russell become accessible, forming a sensible driver swap between Russell and Verstappen. However, situations have shifted dramatically with Horner no longer acting as team leader and CEO. Earlier schemes Horner might have held for substituting Verstappen with Russell, shown by their recorded talks, could have disappeared, while fresh Red Bull command under Laurent Mekies would probably see Russell as a top Verstappen substitute prospect. The story changes with the former AlphaTauri team chief now directing the Austrian squad. Instead of seeking outside recruits,